Just about. Are you ready? Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the special town board meeting Wednesday, October 22nd at 3:30. We're located at the Palmyra Town Hall, W1125, Highway 106, Palmyra. Certification of compliance with open meetings law.
Yes, the agenda was posted timely.
Roll call, please.
Krajewski,
Here.
Sauter,
Here.
Martins.
Okay, pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item number 1, town chairman report on surrounding community fire and EMS fees, agreements, budgets. This is a report, not a discussion item. Now, after the other night, next morning I received a phone call from the town of Jefferson treasurer, and I'm going to go over some of that stuff on what they're facing. Yes. That?
Table 1 and do 2 second, you're saying, Rob?
Yeah, I've got a limited amount of time, so depending on how long.
Well, this wasn't going to take but 5 minutes. This is a 5-minute deal. Is that all right? I'm just going to give a little update, folks. Town of Jefferson contracts with 3 municipalities. Jefferson went to a referendum to go full-time. They're passing those costs on in increments. The town has to purchase some of the capital equipment there. They have to buy a fire truck, then the town of Jefferson has to help pay for the equipment, even though they don't own it. They have to help fund that. Okay? Fort Atkinson last year went to referendum, they went to full-time, which includes equipment. The city pays most of the town, the town pays some, depends on what it's for. Fire went up 20%, EMS went up 190%. They get their services also from Helenville, that went up 63.63%. They're charged from the Helenville Fire Department, and that's fire only except for one first responder. The town of Jefferson every year borrows $250,000 for roads, and they just keep reoccurring and reoccurring and reoccurring. Town of Watertown in 2024 was paying $230. I'm just rounding it off. 2025 they're paying $232, and now they're going to $317,000. Koshkonong. Lake Koshkonong, the town of Koshkonong gets the majority of their service from the city of Fort Atkinson. They went from $250, now they get 3 jurisdictions there also take care of that. They went from $250 from Fort Atkinson this year to $471,000. And then they get some from Whitewater, Milton, that went up some. They charge $35,000 and $18,000. She also told me if you took the debt service out of their levy, the fire and EMS costs more than what their levy is. And that's why they have to borrow. And they also borrowed 4 years ago, really, almost 5. They borrow money to do their roads, $1.5 million. They borrowed 5 years ago, roughly. They paid off in 5 years. They're planning on doing the same thing once that loan's paid off, take care of the roads and keep up. This year too, it looks like they may have to take a loan out just basically for operational expenses of $300,000 and pay it off in 1 year. These are some of the findings I've been out there called on to find out. So we're not the only one in the same boat. Everything is escalated and so on and so forth. So I'm basically done, reporting on that, there is some information, Michelle can give it out later, and what I have here, or she'll possibly post it on the internet. Anyway, item number 2, discussion and possible action to approve resolution of Palmyra Town Board proposing to exceed levy limit via a special electors meeting. Pull something up there.
Long story short, this is what was tabled on Monday night. All of the red numbers were blank at that point. So I've gone back.
Josh, if you could let me know which file you opened from the what Michelle emailed me.
It is the one titled JG 2025-004 resolution.
Alright, we're not gonna look at the actual budget at all?
We can if you would like.
No, I just didn't know if I needed to open 2 files.
We can do the resolution first if you want, and then I can tell you essentially one number changed since the meeting on Monday in the budget, and actually 2 technically, but I can just do the budget where the numbers in the resolution landed within the budget after the fact, if that makes sense.
Well, other logic would say to do it the opposite way.
Okay, we can open the budget.
Let's go through the resolution, and you can describe it, we may not have to go to the other step.
Okay. So, first and foremost, the second whereas within the resolution, the paragraph ends with 2.119%. That number was filled in based off of the levy limit worksheet and the allowable increase for net new construction that the town, I'll call it, experienced in the past calendar year. Calendar year being January 1 to January 1 of each calendar year. So January 1 of 24 to January 1 of 2025. Moving down one paragraph, whereas the town board of the town of Palmyra, Jefferson County believes that for the 2025 tax levy to be collected in 2026, it's in the town's best interest to exceed the state levy limit as described above by a greater percentage than 2.119%, which is again the allowable levy limit percentage increase.
This is 3 pages, and they're not stapled together, so we can have some.
Intermediate handout right here, Rob.
What's being handed out?
The resolution and a copy of the budget. So, the next paragraph states, whereas, I'm gonna actually stop and start from the back of this, so the entire resolution gets read out loud. 2025-04, resolution of the town of Palmyra proposing to exceed the levy limit via special town electors meeting. Town of Palmyra, Jefferson County, resolution number 2025-004. Whereas the state of Wisconsin has imposed levy limits on town, village, city, and county levies for 2025 and thereafter under Wisconsin statute 66.0602. Whereas Wisconsin statute 66.0602 limits the allowable local levy limit for 2025 to a percentage increase of no more than the greater of 0% of the 2024 payable 2025 adjusted actual tax levy as calculated under the state's levy limit law, or B, a percentage equal to the percent change in equalized value due to net new construction, less improvements removed, which for the town of Palmyra is 2.119%. Whereas the town of whereas the town board of the town of Palmyra, Jefferson County, believes that for the 2025 tax levy to be collected in 2026, it is in the town's best interest to exceed the state levy limit as described above by a greater percentage than 2.119%. Whereas the town of Palmyra's 2024 payable 2025 adjusted actual tax levy was $508,088. And further, whereas the state law would limit this year's increase to $10,766 for a total allowable tax levy before adjustments for 2025 to be collected in 2026 of $518,274. Therefore, the town board of the town of Palmyra, Jefferson County, does hereby resolve and order as follows. Number 1, the town board supports an increase in the town tax levy for 2025 that will exceed the amount allowed by the state levy limit. Sub 2, the town board directs that the question of increasing the allowable town tax levy for 2025 to be collected in 2026 by 17.269%, which would increase the town tax levy by $89,500 for a total town tax levy after adjustments of $804,334, shall be placed on an agenda for the special town electors meeting to be held on November 13th, 2025, adopted this date, potentially signature lines. That's the resolution. So the red numbers are those that I went through since Monday night's meeting to verify that they are all correct based on the levy limit worksheet. Crossed that with Michelle via email and in person here a few moments before the meeting. The allowable increase amount itself is accurate. The then revised total with property, personal property tax adjustments taken off. The 17.269% is the difference of $89,500 divided by 518,274. And then the 804,334 includes that revised amount plus the debt service payments that are due in 2026. So that's the summary of the resolution, I guess, at this point. Rob, if you had the ability to open the document titled 26 Draft Budget -10/20/2025.
Not the draft budget detail, just the overall draft budget.
Draft budget detail, you are correct. There should be a PDF. Yep. I didn't know if anybody could open Excel forms on cell phone, so here is that problem. Let me know when you're successful if you are, sir.
Oh, I'm okay.
Okay.
You know you're waiting on me.
No, that's fine. At the top of the worksheet itself, in the far upper right corner, when we left on Monday, there was a negative number, negative $89,477, I believe is the amount that was in there. It now reflects 0. So we've got zeros across the board on the top line. 2 cells down, under the general property tax line, proposed for 2026, the reason why the number on top is no longer negative is that 804,334 that's in there is directly tied to the resolution 804,334. For anybody playing at home here. So that nets the budget to 0 between revenues and expenses, with the caveat of making round numbers for ourselves. There's $23, the delta between $89,477. If you go all the way down to the bottom of the expense line, there's a number in the 2026 column that says $23. It's essentially 2 lines above the total. That $23 is the difference between where we were Monday night and where we would be proposed to be to net the budget to 0 with the levy exceedance.
Any questions, Rob?
Go back to the resolution document. What did you divide by what to get the 17.3, 17.269?
So if you take $89,500
Right?
and divide that by 518,274, which is essentially, I'm gonna call it the ending number paragraph ahead of therefore.
So 89,500 divided by 518,274. Okay.
Yep, so that's a 17 point, it really is 17.26885779, but for the purposes of rounding to a 4-digit, or a 3-digit, I'm sorry. So that additional $89,500 is above and beyond the 518,274, and that 518,274 includes the net new construction that we would be able to go up. If we had 0 debt service issued, that 518,274 would be the number, period. We obviously have debt service payments come due, so that the debt service payments get added on top of the 518,274 for the overall levy of 804,334. However, the 89,500, the way that these resolutions are, I'll say boilerplated by the WTA and whomever else drafted them, is that you take the exceedance request amount, the 89,500, and you divide that by the allowable levy without that. Does that make sense?
Would you like to meet? Yes.
Okay, alright. You're the only person I can't see here.
That's better for you.
Any other questions, Rob? Concerns?
Yes, but I'm okay.
Anything else, Josh?
I have no other new news to relay.
So, I'll make a motion that we pass the resolution as stated by Supervisor Josh Gajewski, to exceed the levy limit by 17.2690, or money-wise, 89,500. Is there a second?
I would second it.
Motion's been made to pass the resolution and a second. Any further discussion?
Not really any discussion, just, I would prefer if we would have had more discussion on roads, improvements and maintenance, as opposed to having nothing on here. And the discussion about borrowing centered around that, prior to coming to this resolution, but that's more just a statement on my part than a discussion topic.
There's January, Rob. All done?
Said what I want to say.
Okay. All in favor signify by saying, no? Roll call. Roll call vote.
Martins,
Aye.
Sauter,
Aye.
Gajewski.
Aye.
Motion carried. Number 3, motion for adjournment. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carried.
Thematic, aye.
Have fun, Rob.
Yeah, go Packers.
Yeah, talk to you later.
Yeah.
Was that fast enough for him?
We got 8 minutes left for him.